Okay, thank you. Sorry, I was not able to unmute myself. Uh, Welcome everyone. Welcome to satsang. So today's song by Juhi ji. यार को हमने जा बाजा देखा. Translation: I saw my beloved in all that I saw. Then introduction by Michael as usual. After that, topic is teachings of Baba Sawan Singh ji through spiritual gems. Then we'll have a short dhyan session of 5 minutes. After that, we'll play Master's YouTube video, and then we'll do group meditation with love and devotion. So thank you so much. I think we should start with the song now.
यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं वो बादशाही तख्त नशी, कहीं वो बादशाही तख्त नशी, कहीं का सालिए गदा देखा, कहीं का सालिए गदा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं मुमकिन हुआ कहीं वाजिब, कहीं मुमकिन हुआ कहीं वाजिब, कहीं फानी कहीं बका देखा, कहीं फानी कहीं बका देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, कहीं जाहिर कहीं छुपा देखा, यार को हमने जा बजा 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 देखा.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, my dear holy family, my beloved family of God and the kingdom of God. Welcome to another day of satsang. My very special thanks to my sister Juhi for her beautiful song, like always. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Juhi. And so Welcome to another holy day in Holy Father God. And before I start, I put my head on the feet of those masters in our life who came down from the plane of peace, sacrificed the plane of peace, and came down and took the garb of the human body and suffered for us to pay off our karma. And they travel and they keep working just for us to take the souls back. They come here to plant the seed of love, to plant the plant of love, and to take us back home. So special thanks and gratitude to those dear masters, Ishwar Puri Ji, Sant Kirpal, Sant Thakur, Sant Ajay, Baba Sawan Singh, and all the perfect ones who came into this world and sacrificed their peace, their glory, their oneness with God to come down here and to suffer for us. As Saint Palto Sahib says, that the saints come from the plane of peace and they suffer, they have no desires, but they suffer for us, that they big suffering to pay off our karmas and to take us back home. So special gratitude for all the saints and masters. Um, so when a master when a master when we have the darshan of the perfect master, we are so lucky. As the relationship starts, the relationship starts from the look of the eyes, and once the master looks in the soul of anybody, he could be a stranger, then the plant of love goes there, and it might take some time. If from from the side of the master, it is 100%, but from the side of the disciple, or the stranger that he just looked at, then that seed takes some time because of the karmas. And then once the disciple is ready, then the initiation happens, and then the journey back home starts. So the saints and masters plant the plant of love, and then the disciples have to work on that plant. And what is working on that plant? They work on that plant through meditation and through love and devotion and keeping the instructions of the masters. The saints say that, just like we are lucky and we are in love with the masters also falls in love with the disciple who keeps the commandments of the master and who does his meditation. So the disciple that does the meditation and lives in the commandment of the master gives the master more pleasure than going to the heavens. That's what Sant Ajayab said, that the true disciple of the master, the one who does his meditation and the one who lives in the commands of the master, gives the master more happiness than if the master went to the heavens. That the master himself falls in love with the true disciple. And just like we yearn and our eyes are begging to see the master, also the master's eyes are begging to see his lovers, his disciples. And I'm sure Ishwar Puri Ji is suffering right now because he cannot see our eyes, because he cannot give us his darshan, because that's what the saints say, that they, because if there is no there is the beloved and the lover, they have to be together. One cannot exist by himself. So the beloved is there, the master is there, and the lovers are there. And just like the lovers yearn, cry, and and their soul is just in agony to see the master, the same thing, the master is yearning to see his children, is suffering to give darshan to his children. And I'm sure this is the situation now, that we are suffering. I'm sure the master is suffering right now, the same thing. So this is the relationship of love. And once the soul is shot by the arrow of love, once the soul is shot by the arrow of love, it becomes crazy for the master, and it falls in love with the master, and it will give everything for the master. As so many lovers of God said, in exchange of one look, one darshan, just love me, look at me, and I will give you my whole life. That this is what happens. and that we go crazy for the love of God. And since this is a battlefield, we are in a battlefield really, and it's a big, big battlefield. And why is it a battlefield? Because we have to fight with our mind. We have not only to fight with our mind, but the minds of people who love us and who don't understand the master. Now, I'm sure all of you have experienced that in some way or another. But when I was first got initiated by Sant Singh and I fell in love, I was shot by the arrow of love, and I was in love with my master. I was trying to tell everybody about the master, but nobody understood. No one understood. And no one understood my love, and they thought I was in a cult. And they were trying to get me out of this cult that Sant did some magic on my head. And they were trying to take me to therapists and trying to just do everything out of their love and ignorance, to get me out of the love of Sant Singh. But it did not work. I even remember my uncle saying that, oh, you love shawarma, you love meat, it will only take a month or two and then you will go back. And he tried to even put meat in my mouth, I remember, well, after I was initiated. But that did not change. And the same thing, there's a story of Sant Ajayib that uh, when he was shot with the arrow of love of Sant Kirpal and Baba Sawan Singh, he went crazy in their love. And his family members were so concerned that his brother wanted to give him shock therapy, shock therapy to get the magic of Sant Kirpal off his head, because they thought that Sant Kirpal also did magic on Sant Ajayib's head, and they wanted to give him shock therapy, and because they did not understand. However, at the deathbed of his brother was saying that he sees four butchers coming to get him, and he was very, very scared. And then he says, "Now I see your master, Sant Kirpal," and he released me from them. After he said that in front of all the family, then all the family came and got initiated and got Nam. Then they understood. So Sant Kirpal gave grace not only to his child Ajayib, but he gave grace to all the family. And I see now my family, my uncles who all criticize the master, and my mom and dad, that even my dad always curses the master, but when Ishwar Puri plays on live stream, they all sit and watch me. I tell my dad, you can curse as much as you want. Curse him. It will be a big blessing to you. Sit and curse him, and he sits, and his soul got the love of the master. Master had grace on his soul. As when I was in New Zealand, I told master that I come from a family of hunters and people mental that are opposite of God. And he said, because of your love, they will have grace. Because of my love to them and to Master, that he will grace them, and he did give them a lot of grace. So this is what happens to the soul that is shot by love. It goes in crazy, and it is in a battlefield. So in this battlefield, we are all climbing the cross of love. We are all climbing the cross of love, and we're not scared from death. There are hymns written about this cross, that the lovers go up this cross, and they are not scared from death. They are fearless, and they are happy to go up the cross. And we are all lovers of God, lovers of the true master. We are all happy to go through this battlefield. Even like when if I even like I try to meditate as much as possible at night, but when I'm very, very tired and I try to put my head on the pillow, then directly the opposite power attacks me. Big entities attack me, and I have to then I have to sit up again, and I don't even get like few minutes of sleep because I get attacks. So I sit up and I start to meditate for those big entities that try to attack me, and I say, you need love of my master. You need the love of my master. You are tormented with all this anger, and you don't know the path of love. And I sit in meditation for them, and I say, please give this benefit of meditation to these souls that are coming to cause problems to me and to choke me or to beat me. Then they go away. They don't come back, and then other souls come back sometimes, and they try. As when we meditate, when we sit in meditation, we are hitting the negative power on its head. We are giving a big beating in the negative power when we sit in love and devotion for our master, and that negative power cannot stand these attacks, so it tries to attack back. So meditation hits the negative power inside of us and in all around the atmosphere. And as we grow in master, as we grow in God, as we fill ourselves with master and we become more powerful in master, then we clean not only ourselves, we clean our friend, that power then cleans our the master power that we are in touch with. When it grows in us, then it cleans the whole three worlds. It cleans our friends, it cleans our country. And so, yes, so we are in a battlefield between the mind, the negative power, and the love power. And if we keep hold of the hand of the master, and then this war will be conquered and we will win this war. As this is a war of attrition, there is a power that's trying to keep us in the cycle of reincarnation, trying to tempt us, putting all our weaknesses in front of us, whatever you used to desire before you met the master, and you couldn't have, and now because you're in love with the master, then that negative power says, okay, you wanted this, here it is, and it will put it in front of you to catch you again, to catch you again. As the saints and masters say, when you run after the sun, then your shadow will run after you. And the same thing when we run after God, then everything from the three worlds that we couldn't have before will run after us, offering itself to us. So this is the battlefield. The battlefield is that the negative power wants to put us back into the bodies of cats and dogs. And so what happens to people who don't have a master, who love their dogs or love their cats, and they put all their attention on their cats and dogs? Then in the next life, you know, that energy pulls them back down. And what you think so shall you become. And if you're loving your cat or your dog or your animal or your bird, then you're going to become that. So this is what the negative power does. It puts the souls back into the cycle of reincarnation. Who knows when the human body will be given again? When the human body will be given again, it will take maybe 100,000, I don't know how many lives, but how many until we get the human body again, and then we get the chance, and then the battlefield starts again. That power tries to put us down into the cycle. So we are so grateful to have the master power. And as Saint Kirpal says, if there is a pipe that has many holes in it, then the water that is gushing out of it will be very low and very weak because it will come out of the holes. But if a pipe is closed, if all the holes in the pipe is closed, then the water will be gushing forth very strongly. And the same way, slowly, as we grow in love of Master and God, and we see the reality of the people who take us out of the direction of God, take us to the opposite direction, we start to close these holes and keep our attention, withdraw from all these attachments, all these things that take us away from God. That is like patching the pipeline, and then the God power will be gushing forth very strongly through us when we close all these holes of attachment, lust, anger, greed, and ego, and we slay the negative power that lives in us. Then God will be gushing out of us, and He will be blessing the whole world through us. So oh yeah, and I wanted to read to you a story from Mastana Ji, because we are reading stories from Mastana Ji, the lover of Baba Sawan Singh, the lover of God, and he has so many stories of grace from the book of Mastana Ji written by Bibi Raj. And now I'm reading story 8. When Hazur gave Mastana Ji permission to do satsang in Sangala, Mastana Ji, before leaving his master, said to him, I am uneducated, and that area is full of highly educated people. How I will be able to do the satsang? Hazur told him that his satsang was not based on books, and that his master was with him, and that he should go boldly with no fear. His true love would have the grace of the Guru. Having the grace of the great master, Mastana Ji left the city, left for the city of Sangala. Reaching there, he started the satsangs. Day by day, a lot of educated people started coming to listen to his satsang with love. He himself was doing a lot of Simran and meditations every day. He stayed there for 2 years, and thousands and thousands of people became satsangis. They all were initiated by him with the permission of Hazur. Everyone was doing Simran and meditation regularly. They would even leave their beds and sit in meditation at night. Some started living with Mastana Ji in order to improve their meditation. Such was the time during which Mastana Ji was showered by the grace of his beloved master, Baba Sawan Singh. So, this is a story that shows us that satsang, the words of truth, the words of God, even if the saint was uneducated like Shams Tabriz, when he was a wanderer, he had you know tattered clothes, broken clothes, and when he met Rumi was a philosopher and he was a very educated person. And the story goes that Shams took all the books and threw them in the water, and Rumi was very mad. But then he took the books out of the water and they were all dry. And then Rumi was just mesmerized by the power of Shams. That he first was thought that he told him, you're uneducated and you don't know what these books have. And then that's when he took them and threw them in the water, and then he took them back out of the water dry. It just shows us that the power of God can work, is beyond education of this world. That actually we have to unlearn everything that we have learned from this world to get the true knowledge, the true wisdom of the saints, the true love of Father God. That the knowledge and the wisdom of this world is opposite to the knowledge of God. And that's why the saints, whether they are rich or poor, like Bulle Shah, his master Inayat was from a very low class. That class in Arabic was called Aryan. Aryan means like naked. They have nothing. And Bulle Shah was from the class of the saints of the Sayyids. Sayyids mean the one who you worship. So when they used to come and tell him, why do you worship? Why are you in contact with this Aniyat Khan, who's from the Aryan low class? And he said, you know what? If you ever call me that I am from the Sayyid class, you will go to hell. But if you call me Bulle Shah, that I'm from the Aryan class, the low class, you will go to the heavens. That's how much he loved his master, and he didn't care whether his master came from a low class or a high class or a low class, because his master was the embodiment of Father God. His master was Sat Purush in the human form, the Word made flesh and dwells among us. That's what was Inayat Khan. So it doesn't matter. Kabir was from a weaver class, very, very low class. That's why, it's not written in the Sikh scripture that he was the master of Guru Nanak. They took that out because they were ashamed that he was from a low class, but he had God and the kingdom of God living in him. So the best thing we can do to our holy master, Ishwar Puriji, at this time is give him the gift of meditation and to live in the commandments of the master. Whatever commandments he asked us to do at the time of initiation, if we live in these commandments and we do give him the gift of meditation, and if we can do seva, even if it's better than meditation, then he will fall in love with us. Then his eyes will yearn more and more for us, and that will happen soon, that he will look at us and give us the darshan, his darshan soon, that all our hearts are crying. I'm sure if we become good disciples of the Master and we live in his commandments and we do our daily meditation without pause, without interruption, like every day we water our soul and we feed our soul with the water of life and the manna of life, then the master will go, then we will give pleasure to the master as if he went to the heavens and to the kingdom of God, that he will run after us, that the lover, the beloved will run after the lovers also. So this is my introduction for today, and I welcome my very dear brother Isaac. Can't wait to see him and hear his talk.
Hello, Michael.
Hello,
Yes, can you hear me?
I hear you
Okay,
very well.
okay. Um, Hi, Ron. Nice to see you. Thank you for your address. You're the only one I can see now. Okay. Real friends are only satsangis. That's what I feel. So it's very interesting how we are speaking about the same thing. I prepared a story of Bule Shah today. You see how much we are in tune, and we are under the canopy, the umbrella of Ishwarji. So I will start with Maharaj Sawan Singh Ji's letters, which are compiled in a book which calls Spiritual Gems. I'm starting to read the letter number 30. I'm glad that you are anxious for spiritual progress. You should go on gradually increasing the meditation time. The longer your meditation, the greater will be your control of the mind. Then you will begin to derive pleasure from meditation and the inner path will be open out to you. If you find that meditation before retiring to bed gives you disturbed sleep, you can discontinue it. If you work hard on the path, you need not come to India. The radiant form of the Master will appear before you inwardly, talk to you, answer all your questions. It is true that personal contact is beneficial, but the Master is within every one of the disciples, and those far off should try to work hard on the path while remaining at home. Their going in depends upon the intensity of their love and faith and the amount of work they put in. The Master is near you and in you and not far off. Regarding your question whether to quit when you begin to feel jittery, it is really the mind which is the source of all disturbance. You should try to continue to hold on a little longer every time so that you may feel stronger and able to fight these obstacles. In the beginning, one has to fight the mind and overcome the uneasiness and persist in holding the center. By so doing, the mind gives up its restlessness and becomes calm. Letter number 31. The more time you devote to meditation, the more distinctly you will hear the sound current, which makes for peace of mind, or, as you put it, helps us in chaining the monkey. I'm glad to read that your meditation is improving. For ages, the mind has been developing an intense longing for the things of this world, which ostensibly satisfy it for some time, but cease to do so after a while. The best way to divert the mind from the mundane bubbles is to give it a taste of the inner bliss, which far transcends any earthly joy. This inner bliss can be attained by going in and listening to the inner sound constantly, or at least for as long as it's possible every day. This is how the monkeys can be effectively chained. I'm glad that you consider meditation the most important business in life. You should increase your time for meditation. It should not be for less than 2.5 hours at a stretch, whether the mind takes interest in meditation or not. Sometimes the mind avoids it on petty excuses. When it behaves like this, it should be punished by increasing the time that day by another half an hour. With the increase in time, the concentration will be complete. The attention will go in, and the sound current will be your constant companion, giving you joy and peace. Number 32. I wish that all of you who have received initiation may go inside the eye center, become the dwellers of the beautiful mansions your Creator has made for you, and be master of these in your own right. In a way, it is not difficult. One is only to look inside oneself instead of looking out. Yet, it is difficult in a way, on account of our having so little hold over our mind. With patience and skillful handling, man has trained wild animals, even lions. By repetition of the names and by hearing the sound current, and all this in its own interest, the mind can be trained to sit inside the eye center and enjoy that sweetness and bliss which it has not tasted before. Mind needs vigilance of a higher order than is given by parents in bringing up the children. It is a very wayward child. So long as it is not trained, it is our worst enemy. But when trained, it is the most faithful companion. And the point is that one has to train it to get the best out of it and to realize its spiritual origin. This can only be done in a human life. We are lucky that we are human beings and have the opportunity to go in now in this life. Why leave it to uncertain future? So with love and faith in the Master, keep on with your repetition and listening to the sound current, and always be well. My advice to you is that there should be no break in your daily meditation. If sometimes there is not enough time, the meditation may be reduced that day, but not neglected. There is a proverb here. If you are going fox hunting, go with the preparation of a lion hunter. The same applies to mind hunting. Every day, one should be on the job with renewed determination. Your desire to come closer to the Master and render service to him is natural and laudable. The best service to the Master is to do devotional practice with love and faith as instructed. For by doing so, you do Master's work. You help him in performing his duty of taking you to Sachkhand. Realize the Master within you is very near in the third eye. Man is the highest form of creation. The lower form of life, beasts, birds, insects, and the vegetable kingdom have not the capacity to cast off their covering of mind and matter to be one with the Creator. The angels, life in paradise in the astral plane, are simply enjoying the fruits of the good action that they performed in human life. And when that period is over, they too will be reborn as men. And their further course will be determined by the sort of action they will perform there. The point is, the angels have not the capacity to unite with the Creator. This capacity is given to man, and man alone, and therein lies his greatness. All his life he has worked against his own interest. If he fails to utilize this unique opportunity of achieving the real object of human life, he will be the greatest loser. Parents, children, food, and drink are available to all forms of life, but not Nam, the sound current. Man has the capacity to grasp it. It is within him, behind the focus of the eyes, and is ringing all the 24 hours as if calling him back. While doing his normal duty, living with his family, earning his daily bread, serving his community and country, he should find time to make contact with his current by first withdrawing his attention from the 9 portals of the body and holding it in the 10th portal, the eye focus. It does not cost him anything. The attention which is running out and controlled has to be held in the focus of the eyes by making the attention do some work at this focus. That work is the repetition of the 5 holy names. The result that inevitably follows from this practice is that the attention will cease to run wild, will come within the body, and then from the body will withdraw to the eye focus. First the feet and the legs and arms will go numb. Then the attention will come up along the spinal cord, and when it is all inside the focus, It will appear that this body is not mine, that I am separate from it and will not like to enter into it again. The covering of the coarse matter will be cast off. The attention will then be uninfluenced by worldly happenings because it has detached itself from the material world and will then be able to catch the current without interruption. In time, it will rise up and be on its way home. There are no failures in Sant Mat. Sooner or later, the soul that is keeping its contact with the sound current will reach its home. When the way to the home is known and one keeps the way, where is the room for doubt that home will be reached? Let the other brothers and sisters read this. That's what I'm doing now. Number 34. I'm glad to learn that the sound current interests you and you devote your spare time to hearing it. The sound current is a wave of the ocean of spirituality, of which the soul is a drop. The ocean wave and the drop are alike in nature. All three are one. If the soul catches the current and follows it, it can reach its destination, the ocean. And by merging itself in the ocean, can itself become the ocean. Every human being has this current in him, but is disconnected from it by the mind, which has placed itself between the soul and the current to keep them apart. Ever since the creation started and the soul separated from the current, it has not gone back to its spiritual home. The simple reason why we find ourselves here in this material world now is that the curtain of the mind keeps the soul ignorant of the current and keeps it attached to the material of this world, which is changeable. Our hopes and desires are confined to this changeable world, and for their fulfillment, we take birth here again and again, and thereby either remain dissatisfied and in unrest. Mind is fond of sweet taste. It does not find lasting taste in the changing environments. Therefore, it runs from object to object and continues wandering. If it can get a lasting thing and a sweet thing, it will be certainly attach itself to that and cease its wandering. The current is the only lasting thing. All else is changeable. Therefore, when mind attaches itself to the current and cultivates it, it receives what it has been longing for so long. On getting it, the mind becomes tranquil, the curtain is lifted, and the soul unites with the waves and the ocean. With love and faith, continue your practices. Bring the scattered mind into the eye focus and vacate the body below the eyes so that you go nearer the current and come under its full influence to get full advantage of it. This is the sole aim of human life. Everyone uses his intellectual powers for earning his livelihood. Spiritual powers, however, should not be wasted on material things. They should be conserved for making further spiritual progress. And now I will read the beautiful story of Bule Shah from my master, our master, Sant Singh. The story of Bule Shah. This is the story of Bule Shah, a Sufi Muslim saint. He was a Mohammedan of the highest class. He was in search for God, and he found a competent master who was not of high caste, but a low one, just a lowly farmer who grew vegetables. But he was master, as it is not a criterion of God that master be only from high classes. So Bule Shah belonged to the high class, and his master was of low class. Bule Shah was very learned. He was a man of knowledge, of books. He could relate many scriptures and could do satsang very nicely, could deliver very long intellectual lectures. His master was just a simple man who knew only the basic internal qualification and no external worldly vocabulary. The master accepted Bule Shah and initiated him and benefited him, no doubt, very nicely. Once it happened that Bule Shah was giving a discourse in front of a great audience of very high people who were giving him great respect. Suddenly, he saw his master coming in from outside. But his master was not properly dressed. He could be seen to be a very low man. Bule Shah thought, if I get up from my seat and go to see my master, then these people who feel that I'm so great will see that I'm receiving a man of low category. The respect which they have for me will be lost. His master came in, and we saw that when he saw that his disciple was not showing the respect for him he should have, he smiled and went away. Now, when he went away, Bule Shah was empty. Nothing was there. He could not speak, even a word. Nothing was in him because all he had was only the grace of the master. Bule Shah realized that he made a great blunder, and all was only due to the master's grace. And by not having respected him, he had disgraced himself. He had committed the worst sin. Now he did not dare to go to his master with such a sin on his face. He felt ashamed and sad. He thought and thought of what he should do to manage things again and to please the master. After several days, he thought of the solution to the problem. In some Mohammedan sects, the prostitutes go to the master to sing before him, so their sins may be forgiven and may be graced. His master went on some occasion to such gathering where they prayed to the master to be forgiven their sin. Bule Shah considered himself just like a prostitute, and if not even worse, at least as much as sinner as they were. If a prostitute could be forgiven, then he also could be forgiven. Therefore, he decided that he should adopt the prostitute's process so that it could be forgiven too. He went to a gathering of them and asked to be taught how to dance and how to sing as they did. He offered all his service to cook food and do the washing and cleaning, and he was taught how to dance and how to sing. After some years, perhaps 10 or 12 years, because singing and dancing is not child's play, he was skilled enough to achieve perfection and distinction in this art. He devoted much time and labor. By that time, he was perfect in his job, pleasing his teachers, the prostitutes. It came the time when the prostitute were to go to the master to display the art and to get his blessing. Bule Shah begged the prostitutes to give him the privilege, a special privilege, to go as a prostitute to the master. He asked the prostitute if she would not go, but give her clothes to him, and he would sing and dance instead of her. This prostitute was very pleased with his very sincere services, which he had been doing for so many years, and knew that he had been a very good and obedient student of theirs. So she agreed, pleased. So she gave him her clothes, and he went and entered the court of his master and began to sing. Now, when he began to sing, the master saw this was his disciple, Bule Shah. He asked, "You are Bule?" He answered, "No, I am Bula." The first word was his real name, by which he generally was respected, but the word he used to answer was only a short name, meaning he was mistaken, he had gone astray. He said again, "I'm not Bule, but I am Bula," means was mistaken, had gone astray. Then his master came to him and took him into his lap and loved him. He told him that all his sins and whatever he had done was forgiven. He was accepted again and was again in his love and could enjoy all the graces and blessings of him. In this way, he found the nearness of his master and the blessings again. With one sin which he has committed, he had to suffer for years and years to be accepted and win again the favor of the Master. Without his help, without his favor, one cannot do anything. It is only when dependent upon the guidance and help of the Master that one can succeed here in this life. And then one can find the highest planes and best things in those higher planes. So thank you very much for my service. Thank you, dear Satsangis. See you next time. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you
It's very
so much,
nice to see
Heidi.
you so close and to see you smiling when I'm reading. It
You
gives
make
me a
me
lot
so
of
happy.
strength.
I become so happy when I look at you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Thank you,
much.
Master. Thank you, Master, for
Thank you,
bringing
Master,
you.
to be
Yes.
together.
So I have there is a request from Sister Beth. You know the video where Master was doing all types of laughs, ha ha ha, he. You know, she wanted me to play it, but I don't remember which video it is. The where Ishwar G laughing, different types of laughs. So if anybody remembers that video, send it to me, please, and I will play it tomorrow in satsang. Okay, cool. All right. So now we can, and then we can watch Master laughing, and we start laughing with him because it's contagious. Okay. Um, um, Now we can do 5 minutes of meditation to prepare ourselves to watch Master. And that video I picked, when I looked at Master's picture, Master, his eyes are like glorious, like woo. Okay, cool. So 5 minutes of meditation.
Anyway, I am very happy that I could make you all laugh. That's nice to laugh. They say laughter is the best remedy. There is many. Anyway, I am very happy that I could make you all laugh. That's nice to laugh. They say laughter is the best remedy. There is many ways to laugh. I haven't generally spoken about this subject of laughter too much. But the truth is, if you examine the power of laughter, and I talk about the sense of humor and the eighth sense, the highest sense, how do we express it? Smiling, laughing. And that is why it is true. Laughter is a very good remedy. It makes you feel happy, takes you out of depression, takes you out of so many negative things. So laughter is a good thing, but there are many kinds of laughter. I don't know if you analyze them. At one time, I tried to analyze what types of laughter do we have. I discovered that the most common laughter why people laugh is in what they call the vowels in English language. A, I, E, O. This is ha 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 ha, like that. Or he he he. Hoo. These are vowel laughters. Very common. The less common one is where you want to laugh, but the laughter cannot come, it's too much in you. An example would be, oh, you can't even get it out. But the most interesting form of laughter is where you cannot know if the person is laughing or crying. I'll give you an example. I'm glad you all laughed. Thank you. And perhaps you thought I only knew how to give spiritual talks, which I've learned from that class. No, I can also talk about laughter. A subject that I introduced right here in one of these meetings. That was about a saint named Baba Fakir Chand. I studied in a college in Hoshiarpur. My father was teaching there, and Baba Fakir Chand lived there as our neighbor, and he was considered a perfect living master. And his discourses became so famous, and some critics have said he was the only true master in the whole history of masters, because he said, I know nothing at all. He said, no master can know anything about anybody. He said, masters are totally ignorant. And he named everybody, starting Jesus Christ, Buddha, Guru Nanak, my master, great master, and himself. And he made exception to his master, I think. But anyway, he said, masters do nothing. And what you are getting, you feel master doing? Not at all. It's your own mind doing it. Now, he has said this many times. I recently saw a YouTube program of his in London, in which he's telling, he sits in a home, somebody's home, and telling, look, I'm telling you again, this is all inside you. We know nothing. We just are pretending to know all that, just to make you feel happy. There's a biography of that man. The title is The Unknowing Saint. So they all acknowledged his extraordinary teaching, by which he says, masters know nothing. Whatever you're getting is inside you. I attended one of his meetings where one of his disciples, who had attained the same status like his master, whose name was Tarachand, Saint Tarachand. Saint Tarachand lived 300 miles away from where this Fakir Chand stayed. And that particular festive occasion on which I heard that talk, Saint Tarachand had also come to attend that meeting. So Fakir Chand was sitting on the stage, so he asked Tarachand to sit next to him. Both were acknowledged saints. And Fakir Chand started talking. And he gave his usual talk that we have to go within ourselves to find the truth. All truth lies inside and so on, which was common stuff. And toward the end he began to say, I know nothing. He said, look at this. One woman in Hoshiarpur, she says that at night she was crying with pain. She was my disciple. I had taught her how to meditate. She was crying with pain and I appeared. She says, Master appeared, Fakir Chand appeared in front of her and said, why are you crying? She said, I've got this pain. No, there is some black salt lying on top of your shelf. Take it with water. You'll be all right. She took the black salt. Fakir Chand disappeared. Pain was gone. Early morning, she came running to Fakir Chand. Said, thank you very much for saving my life last night. He said, what are you talking? I don't save anybody's lives. She said, but you came. You manifested yourself. I saw you. And you told me where the medicine is. He said, I was not there. By the way, let me clarify. I never go at night to any ladies' bedrooms. So he is telling all the story in the discourse himself. He says what people get the manifestation is their own mind. Their own mind has picked up. They themselves have picked up. And it is just a suggestion that they make and they get it. It helps them. But don't give the credit to the human being whom you call a master. Now, when he's finished speaking, he said, I am very happy. Saint Tarachand is also here, sitting next to me. I'll request him to say a few words. Then Saint Tarachand spoke. He said, don't believe this man. Opening sentence. He said, if he knows nothing, I will never waste my time and money to travel 300 miles to come and put my head on his feet. Everything I've got is from this man. And then he explains what Tarachand explained many times, but he didn't explain that day. He said what he means is not being understood by people. What he means is, in our essential truth, the ultimate truth, we are only one, not two. He's talking of that truth. That at that truth, what you think is Tarachand is also yourself. What you think is your master is also yourself. Therefore, he said that you get everything within your own self. He's talking from a different point of view. Don't miss this point. Now, when these people write these emails to me, they forget this part. They said, we are devastated by knowing that masters know nothing and they are only pretending to be masters. So that, do you also tell lies to us? He asked me a direct question. I said, I tell the truth, I know nothing. Very simple. They forget who the question is being addressed. If question is being addressed to Ishwar Puri, he knows nothing. Believe me, it's not the body that knows. It's not even the mind that knows. It's beyond that. So when we say a master is telling us this, it's not the human body that we're talking of. That information is coming from somewhere else. And masters are also aware of it. So that is why Tarachand has not been fully understood, and I thought I'll explain it to you. What he exactly meant. What he meant was that the truth is actually inside you. Because when you realize the truth, you'll find the whole creation is being created from the point which is accessible right now inside you. It's amazing, amazing miracle that something that creates the entire universe, which is so huge, and other universes are even huger, that these huge universes are being created from a point which is accessible to a human being at a point within this physical body. It's not a small thing. It's a very big miracle. And they are referring to the ability to reach that point where no distinction will be left between you and me. There will be no you and me. And that's the point that he was making. That's the point from where we start. And that's our true home. Where we belong in spiritual form, experiencing nothing but love, bliss, ultimate awareness, ultimate knowledge, all the time. And no time, because there's no time. No time is all time. Now, this is a very interesting point about no time and all time. How can no time be all time? Do you know zero time and infinite time are the same? How can that be? This question, how can it be, is a mental question, and there is no answer for the mind. Because mind does not function in concepts such as these. So therefore, mind tries to understand and finds a big contradiction. This is huge, infinite. This is nothing, small. But they don't understand this, that at a certain level, this becomes very simple to understand. When you find something that is happening now, we are not seeing it. You know what that is? We are all living in now. Nobody lives outside of it. When somebody told me there's a book says live in the now, I was surprised. I wanted to know anybody in the world I'd like to meet who does not live in the now. It's impossible. There is no other time in which we live. The present is always now. And wherever we are living, it's in now. And now imagine the next step now has no time whatsoever. How can we be living in a point which is a time frame, past, present, future, we are living in that, and yet we are living at a point in past, present, future which has no time at all. Not even a billionth part of a nanosecond. The moment we start saying anything is past. Before we said it was future. We are living in a timeless now. Nobody experiences it. How come? Here, all of us are sitting here. All of our living in zero time, and we are still not knowing it. What is stopping us? How can we be so ignorant that the very thing, like existence, existing now, that we are living in a timeless now, we are experiencing it. We are experiencing nothing else except now. The rest is only added on to it. Past is being added on to it. Future is being added on to it. It seems to move. But now has no time at all. Yet mind cannot understand it. If we try to understand with mind, we get confused. We can't understand it. Because mind cannot understand anything that is not in time and space. It's a big limitation. Very big limitation of the mind. It can never understand anything that's not in time and space. And that is why now is out of time and space. And we are living in it right here. Not in our true home. Not anywhere else. Right in the physical plane and in the astral plane and the dream state. In every state we are always living in the now. And none of us has recognized it. That we're living in zero time. How come we don't know it? I'll tell you how. We know it because we have given a new definition to now. Definition is present. We are living in the present. We are not living in the now. We should be living in the now, but we are living in the present. And what is present? Present is recent past. Few minutes ago, present. Now, I've just spoken to you. Now, this is present. So we are including a little part of our past and calling it present and calling it now. Big mistake to call past as present and then to call it now. There is present, what we call present is all past. What about future? Must be something, okay, we recognize. There is no present, it's zero. Past is there. You are calling it now, let's call it recent past and past. Recent past, we call present and now. Delayed past, we don't know where the cutoff line is, but some cutoff line, and that is old past, recent past. At least future should be there. Not at all. What is creating a future for us? Imagine, now you have to contemplate on this one, even mentally. Contemplate if we did not have things like hope, fear, anticipation, Supposing these three things are taken out of our dictionaries and out of our experiences, no future. Have you examined that? Hoping creates future, fearing creates future, anticipating creates future. Anticipating is neutral, fearing is negative anticipation, hope is positive anticipation. So only anticipation creates future. If we don't anticipate, there's no future. Is it true? And when I tell the psychologists to examine it, they are baffled by it. That we never thought like this, that there is really no future. We're making it up. And now the best thing comes. To hope takes time, therefore it's the past. To fear takes time, it's the past. To anticipate takes time, it's the past. Future is past. Therefore, what we call past is past. What is called present is past. What you call future is also past. There's nothing happening here except past. And there is no way for any one of us to go into the past and live it. Then meditation, you might do it, not here. In the physical plane, we never can live the past. What's gone, gone. Then how are we living? How are we experiencing this physical world if everything is past? There's only one way to live in the past, recall it. That's memory. Memory means you can recall something and make it so real as if it is happening now, recent past. Memory can pull even the furthest points in past and bring them now. And when memory pulls and brings them here and becomes present for us, at that time, it's not present, it's memory bringing past and making it present for us. Now this looks like very weird new knowledge. It's not at all new knowledge. Any one of you wants to go and check out what I'm saying, just go 2 steps. Become unaware of this body by meditation, by drawing your attention to third eye center. Withdraw your attention within the third eye center, the inner body. For next step, you'll see the truth of what I'm saying, that nothing is being used to create destinies here except memory capsules. Memory capsules are being installed into consciousness and we are placed into this, and this is just a replay of memory. Therefore, it's appropriate to say everything is predetermined. If it's already memory capsule we are picked up and living, it's a predetermined destiny. It's a great not only concept, you can have experience of what I'm saying. Isn't that remarkable to understand how destinies are made, how a life we are living, what we're calling the present is not only but replay of something, but there can be no memory if nothing was ever happening. Where's the memory coming from? That's another big question. It is being created at a level at the mind, universal mind, not this mind. Just like there is only one totality of consciousness, one soul, and all souls are the many in the soul. Similarly, there is one universal mind, and all minds participate in it, and we look like individual minds at this stage and in the astral stage. So that is why when we go to see the formation of those, that is taking place in an area where the origin of time starts. Now I must tell you the different experiences you can have in meditation. Here, time flows in one direction. It doesn't flow 2 directions. It's always something in the future that we are thinking about. It comes to pass, becomes present and moves quickly into the past. One-way direction. Time is flowing to the future, which has bothered the scientists so much. For the last 30 years, they have been bothered with this concept. If space-time is one concept, is one thing, according to Einstein, the space-time is one thing. Space ordinates, time additional ordinate of space-time. If that is so, how come we can move in space forward and backwards? Why can't we move forward and backward in time? If truly space-time is one unit and functions like that, Einsteinian concepts have been proven over and over again, more so with the recent neutrinos clash and creating more gravitational waves and so on. Many of the things that he said have proven correct, including that time and space are joint. If that is so, why should there be distinction? That in space we can move both ways, in the physical experiences outside. In time we cannot. One scientist has recently put up a new hypothesis. He's looked at the shape of the atoms. And atoms, like all particles, are spherical. Orbits are not spherical, but particles are spherical. He found some atoms which are not spherical, slightly pear-shaped. When he discovered even a few atoms that are pear-shaped, he thinks they are responsible for our not letting time be experienced as two-way. And that pear-shaped of the atom is preventing us, made up of similar atoms, from seeing. A hypothesis that has been criticized by everybody else, but he says, I want to prove. Otherwise, you find a proof. You said that time and space are one concept, one thing, then you prove why we can't move backward and forward in time. Now here come these simple saints living in little mountains in the Himalayas, saying we travel back and forth all the time. Time is as good as space. But you are mistaken if you can do it with the physical body, thinking this is the only physical reality. But in reality, you can move on time exactly like in space, but not here. You can do it at a causal plane, at a plane where the sensory systems are not tied down to you, where the physical matter is not tied down to you, but you are still there with your thoughts, with your thinking capacity, with your life. You can travel to past and future and see they're all there at the same time. Now, surprisingly enough, this concept that past, present and future exist at the same time has been finally accepted by physics and astronomy, by observations. That one man's past can be another person's future at the same time. So their concept of time that is moving is gone. It's not moving, it's static. That we are moving on time, time is not moving through us. So once these, I can tell you, scientists will also break through into some of these things which we are talking are not accessible to mind today, because they are trying to go beyond the mind too. They are going to go into intuitive thinking too. Scientists are going into that. So that is why, what I am telling you, something to examine, that how we are creating not only time, space, we are creating destinies. And people say, why is my destiny like that? Who made it? Why did God create such bad karma for me? Please tell me. I get questions like this. I said, who made your destiny? God must have made it. I said, have you seen God? Have you questioned him? No. Then how are you accusing somebody you haven't seen, have no knowledge of? There should be some basis for your argument that God put the karma. Hey, let me straighten out the facts for you first. You created your destiny, nobody else. But then they say that if I created destiny, I should be able to change it now. I'm sick with fever. I've got high temperature. I am crying. And you are telling me I created my fever? Yes, you did. Then why don't you tell me how to get out of it? Sorry, you can't get out of it. What kind of creator am I of my own destiny that I can't change my destiny when I don't like it? Oh, you did not create it with the name you are giving to yourself, with the name of your body. Body is not you that created the destiny at all. What is inside the body, your inside living imagination, is not the creator of destiny at all. Your mind that is now thinking in physical terms or in astral terms did not create the destiny at all. But your mind at the higher level created all the destiny for you. It was you created it, nobody else. It's your karma, you created it, it's your life, your destiny. How can you blame somebody you don't even know? This blame game to bringing God in or bringing some other power in? You did it to yourself. But that is not what the law of karma says here. Law of karma says that we create our reactions to actions in what we do right now here. And not that it was done something far away. The law of karma says you do good things here you will get rewarded for it. You do bad things here, you will be punished for it. It is something to deal with our actions here. Then how does it happen that now we are being told it was done by us somewhere else, and somewhere else which we have forgotten altogether about, and we are ignorant? How do you explain this discrepancy? The big discrepancy. Discrepancy is arising out of the fact we think this body is the self. That's the problem. Let's move one step away from this. This body is not the self, but the self resides in the body. Simple change. That the self was a director and creator of a Lloyd drama. Got the script prepared personally or somehow, got a nice script prepared and set up the characters. And there were several characters in the drama that one has to come across, and decided to watch the show, set up the show on a stage, and all the characters began to act. Looks like a show, doesn't look real. So the director and the author of the drama said, let me go and see it closer. When he came close, let me get inside one of the characters and then see how it looks like. And got inside one character and began to feel that the director and the author of the whole destiny was a character. And the character now cries, I got fever, how do I solve it? That actor did not create it, that's part of the script. The actor never wrote the script. The author and the director who produced and wrote the script and acted out and prepared a memory out of it, of the whole, a DVD prepared and placed it and played it. They're playing it within one actor. It doesn't make you the creator of your universe. Then who is the creator inside us? Can we name him? People who are doing deep meditation, along with me I have done deep meditation, and they go into the astral stage. Astral stage is very simple to achieve. Much easier than the causal or the higher stages. Astral stage can be achieved when you put so much of your attention in the center of your head and begin to imagine things that are happening there. Just imagination. When you begin to imagine, whole purpose being not to be aware of your body. When you can be unaware of your body, you automatically open up other awarenesses, and even the awareness of the world disappears. It's connected to the body. When that happens, then you can feel you and the body were separate. Body was a cover on you. And the name you had given to yourself, by which everybody called you, was not your name. The name of your body, given by some other actors you called your body's parents. Or somebody else in a part of the actor on the stage called a church or some other temple where your body was given a name. All the time I was thinking that was my name, and realization comes in. And what is my name then? If that is the name of the body, what is my name? In this body, this was my name. But I can remember 300 years ago, in my memory, there's a different body. And the name was different of the body. And then we go further down. Every lifetime I've had, the name was different. Sometimes even the gender was different. I couldn't imagine, I'm a man now, I could be a woman one time. But I've seen myself in that body. I can remember it very clearly, like I live life here, I can remember that part. All these, when they come up, you realize you have no name at all. You are a nameless state because you don't need a name. You don't need a name. If you want to use a name, you can use any name you want. But it doesn't matter at all. What happens if you go to the next stage? There you find Names were only introduced where characterization was needed, where characters were needed, and nowhere else. At the top, it's nameless. Some people say anami. Anami means no name. You cannot name yourself. Your true self cannot be named. Yet we answer to call by our name. We are called by our name, immediately put attention. Yes, it's an act. It's a predetermined act being played out. Imagine what your attitude toward life would be if you had this experience of yourself going into that state and discovering the origin of your destinies. But then one question remains, a question put by the characters here. The character says, I don't know who you are talking to me, telling you are sitting inside me and making me up. All I know is I am so and so in this body. I am having the fever, you are having nothing, I don't know what you are having. And the answer is, who are you? Who is speaking? Who is speaking? Life is speaking. I am the life. When I am pulled out, you can't speak, you are dead. Therefore, who is speaking? You are expressing something on your current state. Very good. You have fever, you don't want it. Very good. You're trapped in physical world. Very good. You don't like it. Very good. If you like it, you'll never get out. If you don't like it, you will get out. You are doing a great job. Good for yourself that you have high fever. You got a lot of problems. The girl you loved has dished you. The man was all disloyal to you. Everything happened bad here. Very good. These are the things that will help you to go away from here. These are signs of being a seeker of something else. Well designed. So whole attitude changes.
Wonderful video with Master's eye beaming with love. He looks so radiant. I sent it to the WhatsApp group. So it's now time to meditate. So if we can forget about the world outside and the body below and come up here to the center of love, to where Master is waiting. Repeat the Simran of the holy name slowly with the tongue of thought at intervals, and have some beautiful gratitude words for our beautiful Master Ishwar Puri Ji, who's waiting with open arms. I hope to see you tomorrow for another holy day in Holy Ishwar Ji, in Holy Father God. I'll keep Zoom on for 20 minutes. Thank you for coming.